Hey everyone, welcome back to FSi DFS. I'm McKinley412, looking at the 5-game slate here for Friday. Hope you all had a fantastic week as we head into the weekend. And just a reminder, no videos on the weekend. I'm only doing them Monday through Friday throughout the course of the season. And if you do enjoy these videos, please hit that thumbs up button, subscribe, drop a comment down below. It really does help out us here at FSi. So let's just dive right in. Carolina, biggest favorite on the board by a very wide margin, minus 360, which in NHL terms is just insanity. You're not going to see many bigger favorites throughout the course of the season, but makes sense. Carolina, cup favorite. San Jose, worst team in the entire league, bar none. And then, a couple of home teams favored. LA is the only road team that has a little bit of favor towards them. And then we got a 7 over-under, Buffalo at New Jersey. Both offenses are quite strong. Buffalo's had a little bit of a rocky start to the season offensively, but they seem to have really come around in their last game against Ottawa. And both defenses have looked quite shaky at best to start the season. So playing in some high-scoring matchups makes total sense that this is a over-under of 7 game. In terms of the projected goalkeepers, and again, a lot of these guys are just projected at this time. You can go to different sites like leftwinglock.com or dailyfaceoff.com. They're not ads, they're not sponsors of us, but they just do fantastic work. I want to give them the credit that they deserve. So these are just, like I said, projected. Shepard, if he is going, this will be his second career NHL start. His first career NHL start was Washington's last game, going up against New Jersey, and he did okay. Still let up, I think, 4 goals in it, but still, it was fine. Comrie, I don't know if it's going to be Comrie or if it's going to be Luukkonen for Buffalo. Either way, I don't have much faith in either of them. Again, I am a Sabres fan, in case you guys don't know that yet. I'm a big Sabres fan, so me kind of putting down the Sabres in these videos should mean a little something more, in my opinion. But yeah, so everybody else just kind of fine. Vijmelka, he's been fantastic so far this season, but so is Binnington as well. You can see I got down here. So if the goalies are in green, it means that they've had at least 4 appearances so far this season and have a save percentage over .930. Nobody's had an absolutely disastrous season, but nobody really qualifies for the 4+ games played as well. So looking towards the line stacks, top line stack, it's not really an even strength line stack. I kind of cheated here, to be completely honest, but it's going to be Toffoli, Hughes, and Bratt. I feel like this top line of New Jersey, I think I've played them, or I've talked about them in every single New Jersey game so far this season, maybe except for 1 or 2. But they just keep coming through. Toffoli had a hat trick the other night. Jack Hughes is just registering 3 points, it seems, every single night as well. And then Jesper Bratt, he does get on that top power play unit with Toffoli and with Hughes. So I really do like that combination. Top power play in the league so far, running at a 42% clip. The issue is that Buffalo's penalty kill has actually been pretty solid. They brought in 2 guys, in Connor Clifton and Eric Johnson, in the offseason to really fix their PK, because it was one of the worst in the entire league last year, and it's looking a lot better for them. They also have Jordan Greenway. So yeah, great power play versus great penalty kill. Who wins? We'll have to see. On this top line, though, for New Jersey, instead of Bratt, you could go with Timo Meier. He has seen his price reduce steadily over time just because he's just not producing at the rate that we all expected him to start the season. I still don't want to give up on him just because of how talented he is, but man, he's making it really tough to have confidence in him. So I feel like he's more of a GPP play at this point in time. Another line stack that I do like is this top line for Minnesota, facing off against Washington. Washington, ever so slight favorite at home, and it's a low over-under. But still, I think these guys are just priced a little bit too cheap. Kaprizov, DK finally did bump him up. He was in that like 7-8 to 8K range for quite a while. So they're finally bumping him up a little bit. Hartman went nuclear in his last game against Edmonton, but don't expect that. He honestly has a very limited floor, and he doesn't skate on that top power play unit with Kaprizov or Zuccarello. It's going to be actually their second line center, Eriksson Ek, who does skate on that top power play unit with Kaprizov and Zuccarello and everything. But regardless, Washington, I feel like they've struggled defensively so far this season. Shepherd, if he is going to be in net, again, it's his second NHL start. He honestly struggled in his first NHL start. No offense to him, like, he was just in a brutal spot on the road at New Jersey. Like, that's just a tough situation for any goaltender. So I do have some interest in this top line for Minnesota, given all those things. Now, Carolina, 5-game slate, small slate, just insane favorite on the board. I feel like I had to give at least one play for Carolina here. One thing that we do have to be paying attention to is the injury. The injury news for Andrei Svechnikov. He's still trying to recover from an injury sustained last year, but he's been day-to-day. The coach says he could have gone on Tuesday, and then he said, well, we'll wait for a little bit longer. So maybe he goes on Friday. I don't know. Remains to be seen. So lines could get shuffled a little bit for Carolina, but, sites like Left Wing Lock, Daily Faceoff, already talked about that. We'll be updating that stuff for you guys there, but Carolina is just a team that has a lot of scoring depth. Like, I've talked about it in previous videos, when you get that Carolina goal notification, it could be coming from the top line, the second line, the third line. You really don't know. They're not as top heavy as other teams are, which is why you'll see guys on the top line like Teravainen at 4.4K, and even like their top line center on a very solid offense is still only 7K. It's not because they don't produce. It's just because they have so much depth in their roster offensively. So, again, this is where the line is at the moment. It could get shaken up a little bit if Svechnikov does come into play, though. Going over to the individual plays, Eriksson Ek, already talked about him. You compare him with Kaprizov and Zuccarello in GPPs if you do want to go with that route. JT Miller, I debated going with Elias Pettersson here, but Pettersson and Miller, they've had pretty similar production rates so far this season, looking at like the advanced metrics in terms of like Corsi 4 and all of that, like time in the offensive zone and everything. Honestly, it wasn't too much of a difference. Pettersson obviously was in the lead, but the difference in salary, I think, is fine for me to just say, you know what, we'll go down to Miller. We're going to be paying up for Jack Hughes anyways at 9.3K, so I feel like Miller can provide you a little bit more savings. Nico Hischier for New Jersey, he's getting on that second line. He's actually with Jesper Bratt on that second line, and he skates on the top power play unit with all of these guys here as well. So really any correlation of those four, totally fine and understandable. Hayton for Arizona, he's got a pretty decent shot floor, to be completely honest with you. He doesn't have any goals this season, doesn't have any assists this season, but still, he's their top line center. He skates on the top power play unit. He gets a lot of minutes. He's shooting the puck. He just hasn't had any luck with it lighting the lamp at all. So I'm still happy, even if he can get me to that 5 shot on goal bonus. Gets me 10.5 DK points at 5K. That's 2x. Really, I'm looking for 2.5x when I'm trying to figure things out, like if they're, worth the salary. So if somebody was 10,000 DK point or 10,000 DK salary, I'm open for 25 DK points. If they're 5,000, I'm open for like 12.5. Okay, so that kind of gives you a sense of like where I view them in terms of salary and if they're worth it. Marco Rossi, I was kind of trying to give you guys a super cheap center play if you do want to go with him. He has 2 goals on the season so far, or maybe 3 goals on the season so far. Skates on that third line for Minnesota, does get power play time on that second unit, so he's going to be skating with Hartman on that second unit. And this was a top 10 overall pick just a couple of years ago. He had a scary medical scare when COVID first came out. It was pretty dicey, but he's coming around and he's finally back to playing hockey. And so he was a top 10 pick not too long ago. I think that he's fine at a very cheap value. Going into the Ovechkin plays. Going over to Ovechkin here on the wing. 7.9K, which is honestly pretty cheap for Ovechkin, and he's facing off against Minnesota. Minnesota does play a pretty slower style of hockey. It's an over-under of 6 for a reason here, and you'll see that with a lot of Minnesota games as we go throughout the season. But Ovechkin, I mean, he's not going down without a fight. He's been shooting the puck like crazy. He had that 14 shot on goal game, I think earlier in the week. So Ovechkin at 7.9K, if you do want to go with the floor play, I would totally understand that. And Washington's actually the Slate favorite at home against Minnesota. Jess Skinner, 6.7K. He has been one of the better scorers over the past week, not just for the Sabres, but just in all of hockey. I think he's got 5 goals in the past 5 games. He's generating points. He's generating shots on net. He's hit the shot on goal bonus. He's consistently getting 3-4 shots on net throughout his games. And now he's going up against a New Jersey squad that, again, they have struggled quite a bit defensively, and they have a really weak penalty kill to start the season here. They're ranked 26th in the entire league in PK. So the Buffalo power play hasn't been great this season, fully admit. But, I mean, they were one of the best power play units all of last season. And honestly, it's the exact same top power play unit. So nothing's changed other than people getting tape on them in the offseason and maybe studying them. Who knows? But I think they're due for some positive regression. Kevin Fiala for the Kings. I do like him at that price tag. Second line, left wing, top power play unit. Just the opportunity facing off against Arizona. The main concern I do have with him, though, is that they are facing off against Vejmelka, who's honestly looked very, very strong to start the season here. Not Hughes. Let's fix this. There we go. Netchess for Carolina. Again, this is more so of there's just so much depth on Carolina, and he's a nice just mid-tier play who provides you with a floor. I think he's going to be paying off his salary more times than not in this spot, so I do like him there, and obviously because of the opportunity in the matchup, it just boosts him up a little bit more. Mikheyev at 3.9K for Vancouver. He skates on that top line with Elias Pettersson. He's on that left wing. He just recovered from an ACL tear, so he's only played 2 games so far this season, but he does have a point in both of those games. He also has 4 shots in each of those games as well. So 3.9K. He's a guy who he's not going to be shooting the puck that much every single game, but it's nice to see that he doesn't seem to have lost a beat by any means from the injury, and he's willing to shoot the puck from anywhere. And then another cheap punt play. I know he's on San Jose. I don't really like playing San Jose at all in DFS, but sub 3K for a guy on the top line and top power play unit, you got to have at least some interest when you're building lines. Over towards the defense, Karlsson. I actually like Karlsson's floor more than I'd like Hamilton's floor, oddly enough, but I don't know why. Maybe it's gut feeling than anything, but I do like Karlsson over Hamilton. But obviously, if you are going with these big New Jersey guys, maybe throw in Hamilton just for the correlation play. Dahlin, he's got a point in 7 straight games at this point in time, so he's really getting up the ice offensively and doing well there. Quinn Hughes, he's just seeing 26, 27 minutes a night of ice time, which is absolutely bonkers. He's at home on a big favorite against a weak St. Louis team who really is just being boosted by an incredible goalie run from Binnington here. But I do like Hughes and what he can bring offensively. D'Angelo, top power play unit for Carolina. Sub 5K. Again, Carolina, if Carolina does not score 5 goals here tonight, I think it's a disappointment, honestly, in terms of Carolina. So to get their top power play unit defender at sub 5K, I think that he's a guy that you need to have in your lineups. And then Ferraro and Burrows, again, going back to San Jose and the shot blockers facing off against Carolina, who likes to shoot the puck. San Jose just bleeds shots against. They're close to allowing 40 shots per game. Ferraro and Burrows, both 3.4K. Burrows does get the power play time. Ferraro does not. But Ferraro is just historically more of a shot blocker guy than Burrows is. So that's kind of where the slate breaks down. There's not really much else to say. So good luck in your contest. Again, no videos this weekend, but we'll be back on Monday.